Boom. All right. So, hey, welcome YouTube or specifically LinkedIn. We're going to send this directly to LinkedIn. So make sure y'all follow us there. So I have the Miss Katia. Yeah. And I had seen her on LinkedIn. She was doing a lot of good things with the community, helping people get together and with their resumes, get them looking great. And just a whole lot of stuff inside the IT community. So I don't want to take her thunder away. You want to go and tell the people who you are?
Hi, everybody. So, my name is Katia Dean, the voice of the Cyber Pros, and I'm the founder of Katia CyLife, a resume business where I help students, people that's interested in cybersecurity, and seasoned professionals with their career development, resume services, interview prep, salary negotiation, all that good stuff. Sometimes your therapist if you need me on the side. When I'm not doing my business, I work full time as a systems engineer supporting the government. And in 2020, I won the ISC Square Global Rising Star Award for my business, KTS Side Life, to my
Congrats.
contribution. Thank you to the cybersecurity industry. And so far, since let me see, 2021, since it started, 20 people have been hired so far with my resume services. So I'm very happy about that because, as everybody know, it is a challenge to get into cybersecurity. But I already know we're gonna talk about that more in this podcast.
Yeah, no, we definitely gonna get into it. I didn't miss that number. You said 20 people. Man, that's a huge number. And like you said, right now, you're a senior engineer and you have your own business at the same time. I'm curious to know, like I'm pretty sure my the fans are, is how did you get started in IT?
So I actually got my undergrad is from Cleveland State University, and my undergrad is electronic engineering. Then I have my master's in cybersecurity technology from University of Maryland, University College. And I actually got into cybersecurity from volunteering at this workshop, this STEM event for young girls. And what happened was it was on appreciation night. They were going through all the workshops and they were talking about this particular cybersecurity workshop. And I never heard of cyber. I didn't know what it was. So I said, okay, next time I volunteer, let me volunteer for this workshop. So I volunteered for the workshop. And this particular workshop, the girls were doing basically cyber, they're doing the forensic side of cybersecurity. They had to decode a message, gather some evidence. Now, me personally, I don't like programming. Programming is not my cup of tea. But I'm like, I do some more research and see if programming is not in cyber. I still, use some of my skill set. Did some research. One of my friends had recommended University of Maryland, University College has a great program. You should try them out.
Hmm.
I went to one of their webinars, and from their webinar, they had the cybersecurity program, but it was a wide range of different areas. So I said, okay, my skill set will fit here. So I actually got into cyber from volunteering at
Wow,
event.
that man, that's a cool story. That is a really cool story. It sounds like your friend helped you out, kind of nudged you in that right direction. And so you did touch on something else. So when a lot of people think of cybersecurity, it's a very narrow focus. Like they might think of hacking or some you might see on television. And you said when you had, looked at the university, there was a lot of different forms of cybersecurity. Can you tell us what some of those are?
Yeah, so for my program, University of Maryland, University College, my degree that I got in cybersecurity technology in, my particular program had different areas. So I had a digital forensics class, a policy class, a class that focused on like risk of compliance,
Mm-hmm.
and then another class about networking. So for my particular program, I got a range of all different areas. And I realized that I was on the non-technical side of cyber because a lot of people don't understand, as you already mentioned, cybersecurity, what we see on TV, hacking all the time. We have to do programming, but that's only one side. As I mentioned before, I'm not a programmer. Don't ask me anything about code. Just don't ask me. I don't know anything. But there is a
I'm gonna throw
non-technical
some
side.
Python at you. You don't know?
No, no, don't, no, don't even. Where does semicolon go? I have no idea. Do not ask me. I don't know. Um, So that was on the non-technical side. I'm on the non-technical side of cybersecurity, and my day-to-day is I basically gather requirements for a particular project I'm assigned to, collaborate with team members. Now, much of my projects deal with the cloud, so I have to be
Hmm.
aware of cloud terminology. Now, I'm not working in the cloud, but I still have to be aware of what's going on, especially the terms they're saying, because it's a lot of terms and acronyms going on. So you have to be aware of those terms. And I'm going to bring up this definition that I like from Dr. Mansour Hassi, who is also my mentor. And his definition of cybersecurity is the mission focused and risk optimized governance of information, which maximizes confidentiality, integrity, and availability using a balanced mix of people, policy, and technology while improving over time. And the reason why I like that definition is because you need people, of course, you need technology, and then policy, because policy is important as well. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody understand that definition. They'll understand, okay, I'm not really that technical, but I have some non-technical skills and I can find my way into cyber. So that's my whole mission, especially when I do people resumes, that I always get, I'm not in cybersecurity, but you are. So I try to make sure that people understand, here are the transferable skills you have, and this is how you align in cyber.
Man, that's a whole lot. That's I really like that, the way that you put everything together. Like, you make it easy. I know when I first started this, I got excited by honestly watching the hacker stuff on television. And then the only thing that changed is, like, I stuck with it. I wanted to be a red teamer. But even with my experience, like in sales or in the military, like, people let me know, like, well, those skills are transferable. And it's a lot of people that they don't have somebody like you in their corner to kind of steer them in the right direction. Earlier, I told you I watched your video, and you went through a document that you were able to pull up, and then it had the different areas. Can you kind of speak about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, so I live and breathe the the NIST, which is National, I don't have a brain fart now. National Standard Institute
Institute
Technology.
Standards Technology.
Yes, thank
We
you.
got you. We got you.
Thank you. Yes. 800-181, which is a cybersecurity workforce publication, which I have a course on YouTube where I break down that whole document by each section. And that document is very useful because, for example, when I was looking for interviews, I'm sorry, when I was going on interviews, I had to understand my area of cyber because, as we already know, I don't care in the world of cyber, they just think hacking. And I'm like, no, I'm on the non technical side. I'm on the oversee governance side of cybersecurity. And that actually helped me with that document, the NIST 800
Hmm.
They helped me, that document helped me. Now they have the cyber career path tool, which is just a visualization of that publication. And I also like that tool too, because I call them bubbles. So they have all these colorful bubbles that I like. And I also like that it's visual, and it gives you, as we mentioned before, transferable skills. So for instance, I could click on project manager. That's a part of cybersecurity. That's on the oversee and governance side. But it will also, you can also have transferable skills, maybe a product manager. You have a little bit
Hmm.
of skills that go into there. So I really like that a lot. And I use that tool within my services as well, because I do a resume analysis. I look at your resume, if you help this, prime example, help this. I get a lot of those resumes. I get a lot of help desk resumes, and people all the time, I'm not a cyber because I'm a help desk. And I say, well, you actually are in cyber. You're actually in the operate and maintain side according to the NIST 800-181, and this is where you fit in cyber. So that guide helps people a lot. And then I also give them another resource. After they're doing my services, they can look at that resource. Hey, Katia mentioned I'm on the operate and maintain side, but I did some more research and I'm kind of interested in the protect and defend side. So incident response.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like I like live and breathe. Yeah. I live and breathe that document.
Now I can tell when I was watching your video, you went through that thing like you knew it. Like it was almost by heart. And I was like, man, I was looking at some of those titles, like I can see how that works, but at the same time, like, so for people that are looking for jobs or they might just be interviewing right now, what should they be searching for? Should they be searching for the title? I heard people say, you should type in the actual title or the role that you want. And I heard other people say type in the skill that you might possess. Like what would you recommend? Or what's your suggestion?
My suggestion is that you need to type in the skills and the title. And the reason why I say that is because a title is not that. Which one? I'm gonna be truthful. A title is not that important. The reason why I say that is because, for example, I'll go with my experience. I have a range of job titles from system test engineer, cybersecurity engineer, program analyst, senior technical manager, and now a system engineer. Those are all different job titles, but I have done similar duties within that job title.
Yeah.
So the skills are better for your job search if you Indeed, Glassdoor, whatever search engine you want to use. Hypothetically speaking, let's say you want to be a SOC analyst. One particular skill you might need is the SIM tools.
Yep.
Let's just say Splunk. So you say SIEM, comma, Splunk, comma, I'm gonna say incident response, comma, and something else. Then it would give you job titles. And you would probably notice, oh, this whole time I've been looking for a stock analyst, but now I'm looking and a cybersecurity analyst popped up.
Yeah.
Or incident response analyst popped up. So now you finding other roles that you didn't know about because you were just looking up stock analyst, but it could really mean something else. So I tell anybody out there that job searching, you really want to focus on this. You could do a blend of both. You would do skills, the job title, and maybe the cert that you earned as well. If you earned a cert, add that in there as well and see what job titles pop up.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a good segue into the cert situation. So I I actually before we I think you know where this is headed. Somebody today actually reached out to me and they're in the process of trying to transition over and they wanted to know, do you actually need a cert? How important are certs? And is that something that people should actually be going after when they're trying to get in, into cyber?
So, no. So I have a love-hate relationship with certs, and I'll tell you why. And I did a YouTube video on my favorite my famous phrase is "Don't get cert happy." And the reason why I say that is because I help people on a daily basis that has 5, 10, 4, 3, 1 cert, still can't find a job. And what I have realized, two things happen. One thing is maybe you are a college student and tell everybody to go get the Security Plus because, oh, if you get the Security Plus, you'll get a job.
Mm.
Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Another thing I've noticed is that a lot of people get certs and they don't realize that certification or those certs put you in two different paths. So I'll give you an example. The trifecta of, hey, I'm about to be in help desk is network plus A plus and security plus. I've did a lot of those resumes. Anybody that's in help desk have those three certs and they can't get out of help desk. So I
So
tell them,
no, go ahead. I'm
oh
listening.
yeah. So I tell them, do a trial and error. If you want to get out of help desk, have two resumes. Have one resume where you just have security plus, then have another resume where you might have security plus and network plus. for
Yeah, so just
example.
kind of mix it up a little bit, especially like how you said, if they feel like they're stuck at the help desk and they want to get out. And yeah, I can definitely see how that happened. And it's funny that you had brought that up, because when I was in my master's program, that was what they pushed to us: get the Sec Plus, get the Sec Plus. And I ended up getting it. And it was two different situations. So I noticed other people in my class or my cohort that actually got it within like a month. They were off and they were working. But me, that was not the situation, So I hope y'all heard that she was dropping some gems. Just because you got the certification, you got to know exactly what you want to do with it. So you said you get a lot of help desks, and what other roles do you think you get a lot of that people, want to transition over or out of?
I get a lot of people that want to be a SOC analyst, a lot, a SOC analyst, help desk. Some people on my side that's project managers, program managers, business analysts. And then I get people who are coming from a different background. So recently, or I think the last three resumes, I had people coming from educational background.
Huh.
And if you're a teacher out there, you could get into cybersecurity because you could use your teaching skills and get into cyber. So, example, the NIST 800-181, and I'm not looking at the document. That's how I know this too well. If you are a teacher, you could go into the oversee governance side of cybersecurity, and you could look up under the area that's training and awareness, and you could look up jobs, for example, cybersecurity curriculum developer or workforce developer, because you already earned that skill set from a teacher. You know how to plan out the testing. Plan out the study guides, plan out the students' work, the curriculum. You have to think of creative ideas to keep the students engaged. So I help a lot of people that's coming from a different educational background industry that I have to transfer those skills over into
Yeah.
cyber to help them see, hey, here's the skills you have, this is where you could go, and things of that nature.
Out of curiosity, when you say that you help them transition or translate those skills into cybersecurity, so what does that look like on a resume? Like, how do you make that look techie? Because what I'm first thinking is, I like when I put together my sales resume, it was so lucky that I so happen to work in SaaS, or software as a service. So I was able to list some of the tools that I work with. But as a teacher, like I'll say I taught ninth grade history. It'll be kind of hard for me to figure out how to put that and make it look techie.
So, for instance, if you're a teacher, depending on, let's just say you worked in a database. The database is something that's technical. So you don't have to specify the database, but you can say input. I don't like input. Well, I'm just gonna use that for now. Input students' data within the database. That's like a very simple one without being too technical. Now, there's a way to craft. So this is how I craft my resumes. Anybody that come to me resumes, I am very straightforward, clear and concise, and straight to the point. Because I just read an article recently that recruiters only spend 7.5 seconds looking at a resume. If your resume is too long or it's not, one, it could be too long, it's not organized, it has a whole bunch of irrelevant information, it's all over the place. You're not just gonna get down to the bottom of the path. Now, a lot of people don't understand you also need people skills, soft skills as well. So if you come from an educational background, I'm going to also highlight your soft skills.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to say I taught the students today. Like yeah,
That's
you
not.
taught the students, but that's not how you want to put in your resume. You want to say collaborated with students on a daily basis, encourage students through motivational speaking, things of that nature. But you
You
really
made
want
that
to take,
sound 10 times better already. I'm sitting
see,
over
I know.
like that's polished up, bro.
Yes, and you just want to make sure to use impactful action verbs. For example, I know you probably seen this. Everybody, for some reason, like responsible for. I was responsible for this and responsible for that. There are other ways to say responsible for. So, for
Hmm.
instance, you could say contribute to or participated in. That's another way to say responsible for.
Yeah, the responsible sounds more passive. When you
Mm-hmm.
exchange it with those other words, it was like that's something that you actually did. That's how you contributed instead of just being responsible for something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, so action verbs is very important. Powerful action verbs is very important. I recommend anybody to just Google. It's a resource I use, but just Google 185 action verbs for your resume and use that as your resource and add those type of action verbs to your resume because that'll make it stand out and be more helpful. Another thing for resumes, I have a love-hate relationship with this as well. It's the templates.
I was just
The
about to
reason,
ask you.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
It's so easy though, especially if you don't know what you're doing, just to hop online real quick, copy and paste, switch up things around. I'm looking at you. No,
Mm-mm.
no,
No,
okay.
and the reason why is because one or two things happen. Now, the template is good if you're going to email your resume to the recruiter and you do not have to put it in the system because not all ATS systems is updated. So if you have a template that has like that box or whatever, that box is probably not going to which translate into the system. So now your resume is the format is wrong. It probably missed some of the important information because it didn't
Hmm.
get that box of things of that nature. So you have to be mindful of that. So I tell people if you're going to use a flashy template, that's the one you email to the recruiter and have a basic organized one Word document that you could transfer to a PDF for the ATS system. But I don't do templates. Don't ask me. I'm not doing it. And if you send me a template, I'm going to change it anyway. That's what I
So
do.
what would be the process? So say I was a new client and I said, hey, I had this resume. You said teacher, so let's use sales. Since I was a salesperson, a lot of people from sales ask me this question. So I got a sales resume and I need your services. So what would be the process and how will be the benefit?
Okay, so if you're a salesperson, you would pick my transition package because my transition package is, hey, you're coming from a different industry, so now I have to brainstorm ways of, okay, how is this salesperson could somewhat use some cybersecurity skills? For example, I'm gonna blow your mind for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
No, it's probably like 2 minutes. But you are a salesperson. You are dealing with clients. You had to collect data from those clients when you had to do the paperwork. You had to make sure that that paperwork was secure. You couldn't just have people paperwork just out on the desk. So how did you secure that data from those clients? You had to upload the documentation into the database, make sure it was secure. You had to follow the policies within the I'm saying automotive per se, automotive industry. You had to follow standards. Policy, as I mentioned before, that's important. Standards, important. That's a cybersecurity method that you're not realizing that you have, but that's what you have to follow. So anybody coming from a different industry, sales, healthcare, bank, insurance, that's my transition package. If you are a college student undergrad, then you would choose the undergrad package. And then if you are already in cyber/IT, then you would choose the cyber and IT package. And then I also have the digital portfolio package, which is my package where you have your resume, but you also get a personalized website. I don't do that part. My marketing guru, she does that for me. So you basically have your digital imprint on, I mean, blueprint, digital blueprint. And
Mhm.
for that, that's going to help you be a step further in the competition because now everything is virtual.
Yeah, that's amazing, especially with the COVID situation and people not being able to actually meet up in person. Like the thing that I didn't even know that you had the last service. Like you said that you not only reviewed a resume, but you give somebody a website. Can you speak to the value of having a website versus, having just a LinkedIn page or a social media profile and thinking that everything's okay? Like how would a website benefit you?
Oh, a lot of things. So, so the website example, my website, even though my website has services, before I turned my website into my resume business, it was my blog. So I had my blog where I documented my journey finding employment because I was unemployed for 9 months in 2019. So I started with my blog, sharing my experience with interviews, job searching, what I learned, the whole 9 yards, and then I turned that into a book, ebook, which is called "The Struggle Is Real: A Blueprint to Excelling to the Cybersecurity Discipline," that you can also get on my website as well. I did a lot of stuff. So I started off as a blog. So my blog helped me out. Then I transitioned that over to my resume business. But once again, that's going to help you out. For example, technical people, you can share your projects. A lot of people I
Thank
see
you.
vlog. Document your process because if you won't have the years of experience per se, but you could show what you're
Preach.
doing.
Preach.
And then that's your lead way in the interview, and it shows, we know what, this person don't have a lot of experience, but they actually show from their portfolio, oh, you know what, they just did their first S3 bucket on AWS.
Yeah.
They just had a blog about it. Oh, they also wrote a blog about it. So they have great technical writing skills as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because me being an engineer, the thing is engineers don't know how to write. But I'm also not your typical engineer. so so I know how to write as well. But the portfolio is great, putting yourself out there. You, like I say, vlogging. You also building your personal brand because I learned when I was unemployed for 9 months, I had a come to myself moment that I am more than my job because
Yeah.
I was just, evolved around my job. That's all I knew. But I realized when I had an income coming in and I had and I was struggling, that hey, I need to have another source of income. Here's my resume business, but now I have a job, but I'm still doing my resume business because my job might end tomorrow. Knock on wood. That don't happen. But
Knock knock.
I still have my resume business to fall back on. So that's why I learned. So you're more than your job. You want to just establish your personal brand as well. Be true to yourself. I will say you will have some copycats out there, but there's only one you. So
Mm-hmm.
keep doing what you're doing because I know I have a lot of copycats.
So many gems. Don't come after anybody. We don't want any smoke
Oh
on the
no, no,
podcast.
no. Oh no, no, no. No, I have copycats, but I always say it's only one me. So I now I find it as a form of where's that phrase? A form of flattery or whatever it's called.
Imitations
So
is this
yes.
kind of form of flattery,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. You got me. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, you touched on a few things I like. So if you were listening, the very first thing is that's going to set you apart from everybody. Establishing your brand. um I love the fact that she said if you need some experience, remember, especially if you're somebody that's not in the field, you don't have a real clear technical background, you could build something like a static website with an S3 bucket on AWS to just show what you're doing, and you could build your experience that way. And man, your story by itself is amazing. When you said it took you 9 months, and when you put that blog together, when you actually did, land that interview that got you the job, was that something that they weighed heavily on?
Yes, because once again, networking, a lot of people could say network. Networking help, and I'm gonna tell you my story how. When I was unemployed for 9 months, I was documenting my whole process, and a lot of, everything, my ups and downs. I shared stuff. I shared my last statement was I made my last statement because I was tired at this point in time, and I was like, somebody hire me. This don't make no sense. But my last statement was I had posted my resume. I had said what I already did, what I do not have time for. Do not call me if you're searching for people that you have a contract, but it has to be awarded yet. I don't have time for that. And in my comments, people was commenting. And this guy, I didn't know this guy from a can of paint. I didn't know him. And he said, "Hey, Katia, my company is hiring. Could you please send me your resume?" I sent that guy my resume. I had an interview a week later. I did the interview and
Wow.
I got the job. So I had ended my 9-month journey with a referral from a guy I didn't even know. So your
Yeah.
online presence is very important because you never know who's watching. You never know.
You know what's so crazy about that? When no, you never know who's watching is I didn't understand that until I had my first interview in cybersecurity. And it was a job that I'm at right now. The gentleman that hired me, we had a great conversation, but he had brought up a comment I left in somebody's LinkedIn message when they had passed their pen test plus, and I gave them, congratulations, man, that was a fun exam. I really liked that exam. The hiring manager went and found that and said, I never seen anybody write that. So you don't never know who's looking at you. You don't know what they're looking at. So building a good personal brand is 100% on cue. But obviously, you know that. um, man. So I think that was a lot. Like you went you really laced this. I can't even think of any other questions. Like, is there first, can you get the people your contact information? How can they reach you?
Oh yeah, so you can reach me on Twitter. No, you can reach
Twitter.
me on Twitter. Now you can reach me on Twitter at Katia CyLife. My IG is also Katia CyLife. My website is katiacylife.tech. So that is KATIACYLIFE.tech. Just follow me on LinkedIn because I'm very picky about my connections. So if you just follow me on this, press the follow button. You will see my
She is not lying. I
yeah.
don't think we even connected yet. I'm following you though.
See, there you go. But no, we gonna connect after this. But if you follow me, you will see all my posts as well. You will see all my emojis that I brighten up everybody's day because it's a mood for everything and all of that stuff. But I did have a question for you.
Yeah, yeah.
We gotta
Anything.
we gotta we gotta go back on a cert thing because this
Let's
is a very
go.
important lesson.
Let's get it.
Now I looked at your profile too, and I'm gonna ask you this: the certs that you have earned now, do you use them at work?
Do I use the high level information, like my understanding of the tools, but I think every job is different. Like when I got my SOC analyst role, I was happy I knew what a SIM tool was. I was happy I knew how to read logs, and a lot of that was from Security Plus and Pen Test Plus. But I wouldn't say that like everything that I learned through my certifications that I'm actually practicing right now. That's probably down the road. To be honest with you, I learned a lot of high level tools, especially for hacking. And I know I'm not gonna get my hands on a lot of those things, but once again, that's why it's important to do labs and build your own experience. That's your question. I know I got a few different
Mm-hmm.
certs. Like I went, so my path was, to people that don't know, when I went back to school, I told you I wanted to be a hacker, a red teamer, and my very first professor, he actually does he sets up cloud migrations on contracts for big companies. So he had did some stuff in class and got me really excited. I came across my second mentor, John Helmus, and he's a real big pen tester. He encouraged me to get my pen test plus. And so the first guy said, get your security plus. Then I went and got my pen test plus because I was like, okay, well, that might be something that could help me out. Then I got excited and I called my first teacher back and I said, hey, I got my certification. I'm happy. And then he's a cloud guy. So the first thing he says is, so what happens if I take you on we have a pen test and there's nothing on prem, everything is in the cloud. What are you going to do then? And I was like, wow, I never thought about that. So he urged me to go get my cloud practitioner and my solutions architect. And that's why if you look at my thing, it's like, where does this connect? That's where it connects for me. And my mentor is funny. He actually wrote a book called Pen Testing AWS. So now I got my pen testing and I got the cloud because I understand it. But yeah, I would tell people to, I guess get the certs that's valid, figure out what you want to do. Like earlier, how you brought up the help desk, you got your triad, see where those paths take you. You don't want to just start taking certs just to get them. I wouldn't do it. They cost money. Trust me. If you're not getting reimbursed, they cost money and they take a lot of time.
Yes, and the reason why I wanted you to really share your story is because you have a great example of you got to search because you were interested in that particular area of cyber, and then you also ask for guidance. You have a mentor. People
Yes.
out there, a mentor is very important as well. Make sure you get one of those if you can. A mentor is very important. So for example, let me go. I gotta go back to search one more time. Now, 6.5. 6.5. I have been in cybersecurity, engineering, whatever you want to call it, 6.5 years, and I did not have any certifications. I just got certifications last year and this year. Now, for me, I'm on the non-technical side. My current job, they're implementing SAFe, which is scaled agile. A lot of companies are doing agile Scrum because they want to, go faster and
Mm-hmm.
implement this process. So I took the initiative to earn the SAFe. Now I did a Scrum Master one, but I did a SAFe Scrum Master certification, and then I also did a certified Scrum Master certification. For me, I have realized, okay, now I'm applying these certs that I earned at work every day. So even though the exam is over, I'm done studying. Now that knowledge that I learned is not going away because I'm doing it every
Oh no.
single day.
Yeah, no, this is, I love how you said it earlier. You got to make sure that you really like this stuff. It's something that you enjoy, because like it's continuously learning. And the way I had broke it down to people when I explain, my excitement towards cybersecurity, I tell them it's just like a video game. Every day is something new, it's something challenging. And I think you had a great example of that. Like, so since we are on search, you brought it back up. Would you say it's more important, or would you recommend somebody go to school and get a degree, whether that be a bachelor's or a master's, or should they just go to cert route, or do you think it benefits each other if they get a cert and a degree?
I say whatever your path is, and the reason why I say that is because everybody's path is different. In my ebook, I actually share 9 people's stories and how they got to cybersecurity. Everybody had a different path. I have one person's story. I think they was a excuse me, they was a college dropout, but they still got into cybersecurity, or a high school dropout. They were still into cybersecurity. Another person, they didn't have a degree. They just had all certifications. They were very successful in cybersecurity. You got people that have degrees and certs. So I just say it's on the person. However you get there, you get there. It's going to be a lot of uh probably sometimes sleepless nights, cries, and I want
It's
to give up.
definitely gonna be that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of that. Excuse me. But as you mentioned before, you have to. If you're a person that don't like to learn, like at all, then this is not the field for you because you always have to learn. Stuff is changing all the time. Now, I will say, what's the right look? I will say, I put
Mm,
it like this. Sometimes I feel like you could probably learn too much, and then recruiters or hiring managers might look at it, okay, why is this person learning so much stuff, but they probably don't have a job yet? Or like what's going
hmm.
on? And I follow some people.
That's a
They
tricky situation.
it is because I follow some people. They learn that I mean they learn a lot, and I still sit there like I see you learning and you're passing these certs, but you still don't have a job. So then me, I'm like, okay, well, do you not interview well, or is it your resume? Like, what's going on? Because I'm confused.
So how do you know when you should stop? Because I had that dilemma, and a lot of it was because like I had got my security plus and I had the pen test plus, and just coming out of college, I'm thinking, oh, I'm supposed to get a job already, and to fill in that extra time, I went back and got more certs just because not having being ignorant. I thought, well, okay, I need to do this until something clicked and said, hey, look, I got these certs right now. Let's double down those efforts. Yeah. So how do you know when enough is enough? Should you probably get one cert and then that you really want, and then like go after the roles that you seek?
Now, it would depend on the path you're going. For example, I'm gonna say cloud. Excuse me, because I help a lot of cloud people too, and I have to know about the cloud. Now, when I find time, I will attempt the AWS Cloud Practitioner again for
Do it.
the.
You do it. Hey, we gonna have a
Well, I
study
did
group.
it
I got you.
twice. Yeah, so I did it twice, and let me see. I did it twice. I didn't get past the scores, but I learned each time what I need to study. I documented like I did my blog. Hey, uh, studying for the AWS cert. I broke everything down what I studied. The second time, I don't know if I wrote a blog about the second time. I just got to get with it. I have to, get my mind together. But
Yeah.
what I'm going with the cloud is just an example. AWS, the cloud practitioner is great because you understand the terminology,
Yes.
the services. It's a lot of services. You're not gonna know all the services because there's too many
They
to know.
always they probably added 10
They
more
always
services today.
yes,
Like,
yes. But I always say if you wanted to go to the cloud, you could not go wrong with any vendor because everybody use it. But I will say wherever you live, research the companies and what cloud service they're using. So if you see a lot of companies are using AWS that you're interested in, okay, let me go study AWS. Oh, I see a lot of companies doing Azure. Okay, let me do Azure or Google or whatever. Now, Cloud Route, me personally, AWS per se, if I was doing that, I would do AWS. Me, I'm not doing a solutions architect because I don't know.
that's funny. With an engineering background, I would think
You
that that's
know,
what you would want. I would have put my money on red for you.
no, I told you I'm not your typical engineer. So architecture, no. I would be a person, and I had passed this for myself. I was going to go, still am eventually when I get there. I was going to go AWS cloud, the practitioner, and then jump to the system out. And the reason why, because
Mhm.
I want y'all to already do the work. I just want to maintain the system operations. That's all I care about, and make sure that your process is together. Y'all do the other stuff because I don't care about that.
I got it. You
Now,
sound just like my homegirl.
see, so that's the route I would go. Now I do know, and I see this often as well. Okay, and I'm because this is what I have a problem with. I see people that have all 12 of the AWS certifications, all 12 of them,
Yeah.
all 12, even the Alexa builder. And sometimes I look, are you going to build Alexa? Why did you get that? Like, why? Why? And there are also those people, oh, I have 12 AWS certifications, but you don't have a job. And the
Yeah.
reason why I said it is because an employer is going to look at, okay, it's great you had these certs, but where's your work experience? You didn't document any projects on your resume. You don't have any projects to show. And then, oh, this is another thing for people. I just thought about it. And a lot of hiring managers say this: people will have the certs, but they cannot answer the basics of something. So let's just say you
Yeah.
got the Security Plus, and they ask you in an interview, "What's the OSI model?" And you're like,
Uh.
So to me, that's telling me, oh, you're just a good test taker. You really didn't comprehend everything you learned from your certification. So now this cert just there sitting on your resume, and
Message.
you still don't have a job.
Message.
So that's my thing. Like with certifications, that's just my thing with
Yeah.
because I run into it all the time. I quiz people when I'm looking at their resume. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you earned a Security Plus. Can you tell me about this? And they be like,
Yeah. When you take these certifications or you do anything when it comes to learning, actually learn. Take your time. It's not a rush. I know, especially right now with us being more online. Like even in my timeline, every time I open up, it's at least 3 or 4 people getting new certifications, and almost as trophies, and they don't have any real utilization. So, like we said earlier, these things cost money, and we want to get you a job. We don't want to get you certs. It's a purpose behind everything. But man, there was a question. I had it, I remembered it, and then I forgot it. And it's an important question. I'm gonna feel so bad. Somebody's gonna ask me about it.
Oh, don't worry. I'll talk again. It'll come back. Let me see. Another thing that I'm noticing, because I'm on the government side of things, I've noticed a important skill that everyone should know or be interested in is AI, big data, and machine learning. They're going to need a lot of people with that skill set. Now, as we know, that is new. And yes, we know these job descriptions are going to be crazy. But if you get those certifications, like Microsoft has Microsoft Azure AI Fundamentals or whatever it's called. I have not taken that, but if you do study for that exam, just make sure that you are documenting the projects that you're learning. You're able to explain those projects and add that to your resume. Add a section that's called projects, and you're going to give yourself a title. Um, I'm gonna say something fancy, researcher. Okay,
Ooh,
you're a
fancy,
researcher,
sparkling.
fancy. Yeah, so you are a researcher. You're going to note the cert, which is AI fundamentals. Whatever the first lab that you had to do, give that a job title and write 3 to 4 bullet points on how you did that lab. If you had to use a particular tool, add that tool in there, and just add those small projects. And you, like I said before, you'll be able to speak to those projects in an interview. No, you don't have a year's experience, but hey, you took the initiative to learn this. You could at least articulate the basics, and you will probably get that job.
You are reading my mind, because the question I meant to ask you was about the unicorn applicant with the entry level job, with the 20 years experience and the certs I can't even qualify for now. And it sounds like you wrapped it up right there a little bit, with, hey, get your experience through your projects. And once again, when you talk to Katia, she's going to get you the website so you can put all your projects on there and list them. So what so should people apply to those jobs that seem like it's just so far-fetched? Like, who are they actually looking for?
Yes, because I do all the time. I give myself this prime example all the time. It was, I don't know how many jobs ago. 3 or 4 jobs ago, I was a senior technical manager, and the requirement was I was supposed to have like this high level clearance, 10 years of experience, and my master's. Now I just got my master's. I didn't have 10 years experience. I had 4. I had like 4 years of experience, and I didn't have the high level clearance, but it was like a require. It was like they could waive it. Now, due to my previous work experience, I got the job because I was able.
Mm-hmm.
I understood the basics of the job. I could articulate what I learned from my past experience, and I got the job. Then when I finally got the job, I was there for 8 months because the contract ended. Well, no, I'm sorry, that's the job that laid me off. The company lost the contract, laid me off. But while I was there, I was still there every day, and I was like, "Well, why you had that 10 years for this job again?" Because nobody has even been on this program for 10 years. But okay, so it's just one of those things where it's a wish list. It's really a wish list, honestly. And what I also noticed now, because I do a lot of research. This is what I noticed, and I'm sorry, I'm going back to the search thing.
You
Sorry,
good? Go
but
preach.
what I have noticed is that for me, my experience is that if you want to work in the government side of things, Department of Defense, they are big on search. My hiring manager just told me this. She just said
Mm-hmm.
for cybersecurity roles, they are more concerned about certifications versus your degree.
Okay.
Now for other roles, they're like, hey, okay, you need to have this degree. Now I would say this: if you want to get in a big tech company, for example, I had an interview with Amazon a couple of weeks ago. What I learned during that interview process is that, well, my particular job I was going for, that asked you a lot of behavioral questions, but they didn't ask me one time about a cert. They didn't care about a cert, none of that. They
Mm-hmm.
want to know, can you do the job? Now, as I said
Yeah.
before, certs are important, but don't think it's the end of the world if you don't have a cert. There's a lot of people that don't have certs and they're successful in cybersecurity. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I was watching a podcast of one of my buddies, and what they said about certs on their platform was, look, at the end of the day, you're looking for the job. You're not looking for the recognition. So, like, there's in the cybersecurity, like the CEH, the Certified Ethical Hacker, it's on every job rec for the DoD. Like, but if you talk to people in the industry, they kind of look down on that degree, on that certification. Get the certification, get the job. Um, One thing I did want to ask you, and this is the one I almost forgot also, is so the job that you said that you applied for, they did require a clearance, but they were able to waive it for you. If somebody, I made a video about this, but is it true that if you were to apply for a job that required a clearance and you don't have one, if they still bring you on, is it a potential option for you to get a security clearance while you're under their employment? Like, do employers actually do that? They waive the requirement and then actually get you the clearance on the back end?
Okay, so I have to be months of words on this topic
Oh, okay.
due to my clearance. So I cannot go into depth. Yeah, I cannot go into depth on that particular question. But I will say, if you want to know anything about clearances, go to clearancejobs.com. They have a lot of blogs about the clearance process, the different levels, what you need, and all that. That's a great resource.
All right, there you go. And I laced them up on my, so what I did on my LinkedIn profile is, because I had a clearance, I was in the military, it went inactive. So I started looking at job recs, and me being a branding and marketing guy, I said, you know what? Let's put secret clearance eligible. And it boosted my SEO. So that's something else that y'all could use. If you don't have that clearance right away, throw that in there and see if recruiters at least, give you a second look. But man, that was cool. We did a whole lot of stuff today. I hope that people found it beneficial. You got just so much energy and you got all this information. You pretty much carried the conversation. So I appreciate that. You made it easy for me.
Thank you. Well, I'm a pro at this because I have been on a lot of podcasts, and as you can see, conferences. I'm a pro.
Yeah.
Together.
Get the nice suits on. I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once again, I know we went. This is a good kind. We went for a while. So can you tell them again, once again, just where to get in contact with you? I want to make sure that they remember it and they can write this down, share it with somebody.
Oh yeah. So once again, you can find me on Twitter, the bird now, at Katia CyLife, my IG Katia CyLife. Follow me on LinkedIn. Press the follow button. Oh, Katia Dean. And I do have a business page on LinkedIn as well, Katia CyLife LLC. And then my website for resume services, interview prep. Oh, you know what? I just remember I took interview prep off. So sorry, only for resume services, KatiaCyLife.tech.
Awesome. Thanks again. I'm gonna put all of Katia's contact information in the show notes. So be sure to go down and look at it, click on it, see all the good things that she offers, because she's here to help the people. So let's go and help out our sister. So once again, y'all can reach me on LinkedIn. Just type in Antoine Matthews or LinkedIn/AR Matthews. You'll see my shiny glowing face. Stay tuned, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was long awaited. Thanks again, Katia.
You're welcome. And everybody go out there and be great.
Oh, I dig it.